Oh, yeah. I found an old video of us podcasting and we were singing the Update Show theme song. Bum, 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 bum. It's dead now. It was the Sixo de Mayo.
Oh, singing my one.
Yeah.
I didn't know we did. I forgot we did that.
Yeah. People wouldn't even know what the Update Show is now.
It's true.
That's how old we are in the game.
Yeah.
Alrighty, Kaiser Nation, welcome back. We've got another episode. Today we're starting back to where we came from. I don't know. What am I trying to say?
Origin story.
The origin story.
The origin story.
No,
of Kaiser.
it's not the origin story of Kaiser. Just of CrossFit.
All right, fair.
Yeah, we're gonna start down with just the basics. Yeah. That way, someone who maybe doesn't know CrossFit, you can point to this video hey, this is why I do CrossFit. You should come do it with me. Or maybe you just joined CrossFit and you're this is fun, but you don't really know kind of the theory on why we do the things that we do, and this will kind of bring to light maybe why we do all these crazy workouts. Chris, bring back your level 1.
Oh boy.
Level 2 days.
Yeah, we'll see if the coach will pay attention. See
Hashtag.
they can catch any
what
mistakes.
is CrossFit?
CrossFit.
You get asked this all the time.
Yeah, so this is one of the question that was guaranteed to be in the element test.
Oh yeah.
Is what is CrossFit? And the definition, the answer always was is CrossFit is
here you go, pop quiz.
Functional movements, high intensity functional movements executed across broad time mode domains.
You forgot constantly varied, but
Constantly varied.
We'll
Damn
give
it.
you
I
an 80% pass.
Or then read the real one.
Yeah. Constantly varied high intensity functional movement over broad time and modal domain. And so when people come up to me on the streets and be I don't know what CrossFit is, that is not what I tell them, because most people would be okay, bye. Just when we tell them our degree and we're we're bioinformatics, and they're I don't know what that word they just said. It's I think it's good for us to break it down. I think now CrossFit doesn't even they use that in the L1.
Yeah.
But a lot of times you go on their website, they're it's a fun workout with the community and focuses on nutrition and health and fitness. But they don't really break it down to this unless you're actually trying to teach.
Yeah, there's coach speak, and then there's the media for the masses.
Yeah. So we can kind of break down constantly varied. I think we all know what that is. It's if you look at the workouts for the week, they're ever changing. You're really not going to see the same workout over and over.
Yeah, we always try to sell people on, it's fun. You never see the same workout twice, and if you do, there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
And so we can dive into a little bit of that later. But...
Yeah, can we never see Karen again because my legs have not recovered?
No.
I've been walking downstairs backwards all week,
You're going to see Karen again. Not this week.
I'll just skip just like everybody else did on
Ooh.
Friday. Calling you cherry pickers out. High intensity is the next part of
I think we covered high intensity really well in the last one.
We really did.
We did a deep dive in intensity, so if you didn't hear that one, go ahead and kick back to that one and listen to the high intensity one.
Constantly varied, secret sauce, high intensity, functional movements.
Yeah, functional movements is where we start getting into the nitty gritty of what CrossFit is. We always talk about our gym looks different from every other gym, not Kaiser, but CrossFit in general looks different from Planet Fitness and Gold's Gym and everything. In that we don't have machines, we have barbells, and then
I am the machine.
Yeah, right. All the movements that we do are exaggerations of movements that you do in real life.
Yeah.
Right? Jumping, running, squatting, throwing, all those things are movements that you would... You can make arguments for some weird ones, but I can argue back.
What if I fall down and I need to get up and I only have one leg?
Yeah.
Then I need to do a pistol.
Yeah.
Apparently. But, in all honesty,
or if I'm trying to hold a boulder up over me, I need to do a Turkish get-up.
I mean, you never know. But the things that I think is the bread of CrossFit is the running, the jumping, the squatting, the deadlifting, things that sometimes people are scared of. I need to be able to squat. My Mimi, she might be out there watching this. I talk about how she has the chair that literally is a lazy boy, and it slowly gets her up, so she never has to squat ever again. And I'm literally not making her just squat to the chair. She's really not going to be able to squat.
Yeah.
But if we can work on a squat and squatting appropriately, then maybe in your 40s and 50s your knees won't ache, and you'll be able to run marathons and by the time that you're 70, 80, you won't be in a nursing home
Yeah.
or having a robot chair.
Yeah, it's not about running away from a saber-toothed tiger anymore, right?
Yeah.
It's not about, like, it's the zombie apocalypse that you need to be fit and survive.
Yeah.
It's like, can you get up and down off the toilet when you're 90? Can you get off the shitter?
Keep me out of the nursing home.
Can you get out of the nursing home, keep your independence, and then, like, making you a strong enough creature that if you fall, you don't break something immediately, or if you do, you're at least fit enough to heal to come back.
Next part of the definition, over broad time. This is where it starts to get like, what? What are we saying here?
Yeah, broad. So let's do the whole thing. Broad time and modal domain.
Okay.
Right. So I always like talking about the modal domain first, just because it makes more sense.
Yeah.
I think so. Modal domain is a fancy way of saying a variety of different movement patterns, and so it means do gymnastics, do weightlifting, do running, do sports, right? Like do anything that fits onto the functional movement categorizations.
Yeah, and then broad time meaning all time domains.
Yeah, 3 minutes.
Yeah.
1 rep maxes, 57-minute Murphs, like whatever.
The short, the long, the in between, the interval, the rest long, rest short, rest 30 seconds, Tabatas, rest 10 seconds. Mm-hmm. So you're really trying to work everything to kind of prepare you for the unknown, which gets you into like how this even got created.
Yeah.
So like we talk about like how Glassman created CrossFit, and it makes so much sense why, like how it formed because of how he created it.
Yeah, the end product that we have is it's unique, but then it's completely copied from everything else. So it's interesting. Mm-hmm. We have the end product for CrossFit is we're doing gymnastics and weightlifting and running. We're doing all these different sport domains, doing them across all these different times. We're doing all these different movements. We're not repeating ourselves. So this is like this unique special sauce of CrossFit.
Yeah.
But every single one of these things has things that are from other sports or existed, in life.
Yeah. If you are really drinking the Kool-Aid, I'm gonna go ahead and say like you gotta see some Glassman videos. Like Greg Glassman speaks very, very well. Mm-hmm. He is extremely smart. Mm-hmm. I have obviously not only drank the CrossFit Kool-Aid, but the Greg Glassman Kool-Aid. Let's not talk about like my selfie with Greg Glassman because I totally embarrassed myself by what shirt I was wearing.
Is it on the Kaiser's Instagram from far enough back?
I don't think it would have been appropriate to post it on the Kaiser Instagram unless I like blurred out. That's my dishwasher going off right in the middle of it.
Sweet.
I was supporting Cassidy Lance, to be fair, but I had an inappropriate shirt on.
It must be on hers. Actually, it's on my page, and I only have like 8 pictures. So it's going to be really easy to find it on my page.
Anyways, so I really love the way he talks, and you can kind of see it, like how he formed CrossFit. And kind of one of the things he said was he was just a personal trainer at first, because that's how a lot of like trainers start, and that's how a lot of like gyms start. They start off, they have a personal training, and then it kind of builds up. So they have a few clients, and then maybe they do CrossFit out of a garage, and they've got their 10 people coming to their garage, and then they're like, oh, let's make a little warehouse, and then the warehouse gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it becomes a CrossFit gym.
That was the old days.
Yeah, that's the old days. Not so much that anymore. Everyone just like dives right into this like cool boutique-y Charlotte gym, but
which is because of the evolution of where the sports come from.
But anyways, the point being that he started on these PT sessions, and a lot of times he'd get military, firemen, police, and he's like, okay, what do you need? And so if it was like 40-year-old soccer mom, she'd be like, I want to look skinny, I want to look good in jeans. But police officer, fireman, they need to perform.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, what do you want? Do you want to be stronger? Yes.
Yeah.
Do you want to run faster? Yes. Mm. Do you want to be able to be faster for longer? Yes.
Yeah.
Do I need to be able to jump over a wall? Yes. Do I need to be able to crawl under things? Yes. It was so many things that somebody that's being tactical needs. Mm-hmm. I need to be able to throw things. I need to be able to hammer things. Like the thing of firemen going axing through stuff. You need to be strong in so many different ways that I think that's where he kind of started how can I make this person not just, I can work on getting them faster. I can give them a bunch of interval, sprints, or I can make them stronger and I can just do a squat cycle and deadlift cycle. But how do I mesh everything
and not have them interfere with each other. I need to be strong, but I don't need to be so strong that it makes me slow. I need to be fast, but not so fast that I burn out after a 10-second sprint. Like I need to be good at all of these things without being great at any of them.
Which is kind of funny because we brought up the other day at the gym that we were playing around. This is like kind of like a fun little game that me and Chris play. Is who do we think in the sports world out there, like what position and sport is the most athletic? And people debate it for a little bit, and
not individual athletes, because we recognize that there are some absolute freak athletes at some of these positions that
like we can go ahead and say that a golfer is maybe not the most athletic out of all the golfers. Tiger Woods is going to come after.
He's going to come after. Tiger was pretty athletic, I will say.
He's definitely an athlete.
And he dominated the field when he was increasing his fitness.
I'm just saying.
But
like,
yes,
they're all athletes.
Christian McCaffrey is much more athletic than Tiger Woods. Yes, agree.
Tiger Woods might do a flip into his hole-in-one next time. I don't know.
Pretty cool.
But the debate there is like we always had to go back to like how do we define an athlete, and I think that also comes down. Those are the same things that I think that we would define in like. How I want a firefighter or police officer. I need them to be an athlete. I need them to be completely well-rounded. And so, like, what is that definition? So, like, CrossFit talks about 10 things that they look for an athlete.
Yep.
Do you want me to pop quiz you again?
No, let's go ahead.
He's like, please, no. Oh, you want to be quizzed?
No, I'll get him out of order for sure.
Oh, bless. Yeah, he's already had, like, 2 beers, so he's like... So we have endurance, like metabolic conditioning, stamina, strength, flexibility, power, speed, coordination, agility, balance, and accuracy. So pretty much in every CrossFit movement, you can kind of like pick a few that might be. So a lot of people, they don't really see it at first, like accuracy, coordination, balance, but really like even on a snatch, like if you're hitting those positions perfectly, like you're being very accurate. And you will tell like, if I'm just like do one snatch at 55 pounds, well, relative to me, like at 50% of whatever my 1 rep is, it's going to look a lot more accurate and perfect than at higher loads. So like, for me, I'm stinky. I mean, like high level athletes, they're going to work that accuracy really good and be good at it. But, yeah. Anything you want to say about the 10?
No, I just think they all sound really general and generic, but they really do kind of embody what we think is. If we break down kind of our professional sports, I think you could see specialists.
Yeah.
And even especially if you go down into positions, right? So we made fun of the golfers. But honestly, like, the golfers...
They have way good accuracy.
Is off
They've got to hit that ball, like, perfect.
Yeah. Their coordination, their
flexibility in their shoulders.
But their overall raw strength, speed, agility, not really there. We go on the other side, if we look at, a wide receiver.
I thought you were going to talk about the powerlifters we were talking about. A strongman the other day we were talking about.
Oh, no, we can get back around to that. They're the other extreme, right? So we'll talk about like a sprinter or even a wide receiver is a highly athletic person, right? Lightning fast.
Yeah.
Pretty strong. Maybe not, I don't know, maybe not. Football players might be a hard example here. We'll go something more obvious, like a 100-meter dash.
Yeah.
Fastest people on the planet.
Yeah.
Really strong. Their coordination doesn't necessarily have to be there. There's no external objects they're interacting with. Their accuracy doesn't have to be exactly there. Sure, there's foot mechanics and stuff, but they're not.
Yeah.
They're not striking a golf ball at 100 miles an hour, whatever the hell they're swinging the club at.
I think actually, Clay and them were talking about baseball.
Baseball was their favorite.
Super.
Hand-eye coordination off the chart.
The accuracy part, like, I mean, the golf ball's just sitting there, but like a baseball player, accurate. So what the heck does that? We're talking about like athletes and the high-level athletes. Like, what does that have to do with me? I don't have to hit a baseball going.
So I said there's these shells.
Yeah.
And so on the farthest outside, you have your extremists in anything. So I think Olympic sprinter, right? Power lifter, like these guys that are on the absolute. I guess yogi might be the extreme flexible, right?
Yeah.
These like super specialized in one of these 10 skills. Then you come on the inside a little bit, and you have your more mainstream professional athletes who aren't quite as strong or as fast, but are more well-rounded. You have your your football players, your basketball players, your baseball players. And then you come into the inside and you have your, extreme generalists, which I think are, CrossFitters. And really where the normal person needs to exist.
Yeah.
Because you don't go to work every day and have to run really fast.
Yeah.
You don't know what life's gonna throw out.
I also think that a lot of people, I mean, even me, I came from a Zumba background. I was just like twerking all the time. Like that's like before CrossFit. And even when I came in, I had things that I had were my strengths and things that were my weaknesses.
Strength was not
so like strength was not my strength. Flexibility though, bro.
Yeah.
That twerking.
Yeah.
Boy. But I think that like it made me realize, CrossFit made me realize where my weaknesses are and how important it was for me to work on those things. Because like for me, I didn't have any strength and I didn't really see a need to have any more strength. When I went to the gym, I never really strength trained. I was just like, oh, I know I'm supposed to maybe do some dumbbell curls. I guess I'll do that.
I opened a lot of jars in the house back then.
Boy. But now it just makes so much more sense. Like literally we had a couch delivered. And the guy went to hand me a box. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, this one's heavy. Just, you could wait for your husband to, like, take this one. And I was like, I'm fine. And it was not even that heavy. But it was just like the assumptions I made. And I'm like, I can do things now that I could not do. And so, I think every single one of these are important. Because I think for your aspect, I think you started off stronger without the flexibility.
Yeah, that hasn't changed a lot. But...
Okay. I mean, you're working on it. You at least know you need
and
to
to be
work
fair,
on it.
when I really started, I was a runner. And so my stamina and endurance was off the chart. And I actually was kind of weak. I couldn't do pull-ups. I couldn't do a lot of stuff. But.
Yeah. But I think also it's like, there's certain things that you maybe go into the gym and like, for instance, Chris was stinky at overhead squats because he had lack of flexibility. And so he wanted to do those things. So he worked on that. I think if you didn't do CrossFit and you just came in to Globo Gym every day,
I could not.
You would have no desire.
I wouldn't be able to touch my toes by this point. It'd be bad. It'd be so bad.
Yeah. But I mean, we're speaking a lot of just about like, two of them, but there's tons of them, like, coordination, speed, like endurance. Like a lot of people think that just being athletic means that I have really good endurance, but that's really not the only thing.
And so some of these don't always have to exist in every workout. And so I think this is where people lose what CrossFit is. They're like, oh, CrossFit is just a Metcon. It's not a Metcon. It's a Metcon. It's weightlifting. It's stretching. It's playing sports. It's all of it, right? Like, because like when I think about our traditional WOD, like people are like, oh, wall balls is accuracy. Like, it's not really accuracy. I think when we're outside playing games, playing spike ball and dumb stuff like that, that's the accuracy. We are actively training you when we're playing games.
Yeah.
The whole experience, beginning to end, is with some intent.
Yeah. I think we move on to the next part, which was kind of brings on the like broad time and modal domain type of thing. There's also something special about CrossFit that we're working these 3 metabolic pathways. Chris, now I'm quizzing you. I didn't write these ones down.
Yeah. So let's back up a little bit. So I think.
No.
Here, turn this
I hope they
on.
can still see us. This one's gonna be bright.
Okay.
Bless.
That was very
we just
bright.
changed the whole thing.
That was very. I don't like
we
this.
have some issues here. This is a lot brighter. This is fun.
Much brighter. Okay, so I feel like I'm on the spotlight now.
You definitely are.
We were. The energy
3
systems.
metabolic pathways. Yep.
So I was gonna back up and talk a little bit about kind of how Glassman got to this high intensity part of it, right?
Yeah.
And so he realized that through like high intensity is how we achieve the fastest gains, right? How we increase our ability to move objects. What is the
I don't know where you're going.
heavy loads far fast.
Oh, I don't know. Wait, now you're quizzing me. I don't know that one.
Yeah, so it's basically like one of the things that Glassman says is you need to be able to move a heavy load far and quickly. And so it's just like, and that is, if you are functional movements are the only ones that can do those. You can't curl anything very far, very fast.
Yeah.
You can put a heavy load on your back and you can carry it pretty far. Or you can it doesn't always have to be walking. It could be like you can put a heavy load on your back and squat it and you're moving pretty far.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you start to break these things down, you're like, all right, well, if I take a back squat, it's like, well, I can measure how far that I'm squatting. I can measure the load that's on somebody's back. I can mathematically calculate exactly how much work somebody's doing.
He's getting nerdy right now.
I'm not going to go too far.
He's getting real nerdy.
But this is the core of CrossFit at the end of the day. So the idea is that with some precision, we can mathematically calculate exactly how much work you are doing, which is how much energy you spend doing a workout.
Mm-hmm.
And we can also calculate your power output by how quickly did you do it.
Yeah. And this isn't like, when I say energy output, that doesn't really mean like how much perceived energy. Like, I felt like I was dying, but how much work did I actually do? Because honestly, pretty much every day Chris is doing more work than me.
Yeah, I'm a bigger person moving more weight, but so that's the difference between absolute intensity and relative intensity.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you are hitting the upper thresholds of what you're capable of, you're getting the stimulus.
And the point is not really to compare those like power outputs. Like, I'm not comparing my power output to Chris's power output. I'm comparing me to me and saying like, over time, can I get my output more every time? So that's like, if I'm doing a 1 rep back squat, can I increase my 1 rep back squat, which is me for that one squat? I'm not changing the distance. Well, hopefully my body weight is not changing. Hopefully, I'm hoping I'm just changing the weight on the barbell, but the movement is not changing, and so therefore, like, I know that I'm increasing my power output when I go up, and if it could be for every single workout you could technically calculate your power output and figure out and a lot of times we're not changing every single variable about that. So for instance, if we did Karen the other day, I don't have to do all the math to figure out if my power output's faster. I just need to know, did I do the workout faster?
Which is exactly why we have benchmark workouts. Which is why most of our training is variable and constantly varied, because we're using the named workouts to test you.
Yeah.
We're assuming some small things, like your body weight isn't changing much, and you use the same weight. Like, that's why we push you guys to do RX on these benchmark workouts. Yeah. Because it's like, Karen was this week. If you did Karen a year ago and you used the 14 and the 20-pound ball, and you did it again this year, 2 minutes faster, the work was the same and the time was faster, so your total power output is higher. And that's the goal, is increasing your ability to produce power.
Do we want to get nerdy about the 3 metabolic
pathways? Yeah, we will. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit because it directly.
That makes sense. I was jumping the gun. I'm like...
So Glassman realized this, right? And so he's like, hey, he was an engineer, a physicist, mathematician. He jumped around a lot. His father was a electrical engineer. He was a smart family.
Boy.
But he was a personal trainer that had all this knowledge about engineering and math, and it was like, hey, there was no mathematical definition of what fitness is, and so he defined fitness as this ability to produce power. Mathematically was able to measure how you do this, and so the reason why we're talking about those 3 energy pathways now is that we realize that there are different ways in which we as humans produce that energy to do workouts, and this is, we have a short time domain, a medium time domain, and a long time domain, and these are 3 different ways in which our body produces energy across those different time domains. So, which is why we train all of them. So, if we think about really, really heavy lifting, 1 rep maxes, I mean, we'll say like 3 to 5 rep maxes. Doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah.
There's technically 2 energy systems. Let's say it's 1. There's a creatine phosphate and a ATP energy pathway at the beginning.
Yeah.
So these are, think about it as your muscles have energy stored in them, ready to go. If all of a sudden something happened and you need to sprint as fast as you can away from the situation, this is what's going to kick in. It's going to last like 30 seconds, and that's it. And you feel that. If you go ham on the bike for 30 seconds, what happens? Like, you just hit that wall. And it's because you're depleted of ATP. And this is heavy lifts, running very, very fast. Really anything at the extreme of, like, physicality.
Yeah.
Right?
So if you are, like, a power lifter, Olympic lifter, you have maximized this energy pathway. Yeah. Like, you're really good at this 30 seconds, and then anything else after that, you may not be the best at, unless you train for it. You could be a really good strong man and have a great marathon time, but most likely, if you're trying to be very specific, they've really just made sure that that energy pathway is super good.
And the point is, they get there by training that system over and over and over and over and over. And so they spend 90% of their training volume training that 30-second window, and they've gotten really good at it. But what happens is you have diminishing returns to your training. So let's say, like, if I had 100 hours I can spend training, and I spend 90 of them right? And spend 50 of them in that window, I'm going to get to 90% of my potential. But if I spend all 100 of them to get to 92% of my potential, like it's just like it gets very hard to get to world class, but it's pretty easy to get to good.
Yeah.
And so if we train like an average athlete being like athlete is a good athletic person, right? Not an average human. In each of these pathways, we can be pretty good at them. And so the middle one, which is the glycolytic, which is where we spend most of our time in CrossFit. Mm-hmm. So think about like Fran and Grace and like all of these, 4 to 9, 10. It's kind of a blurry line of minute workout, right? So sub 10-minute metcons. That's really that glycolytic, which is why people will say CrossFit is a glycolytic sport, which means you need carbs.
Give me them carbs.
Yeah, really, it takes carbohydrates that are in either in your digestive system time, or if you use them and they store them as
I don't think you have to get.
You're right. I'm done.
I'm
diverging.
I sometimes have to like
diverging.
You're losing them.
The point being, we can convert carbs into energy, but not at the same power output as the ATP, right?
Yeah.
So if this first peak is really, really high, this one's just kind of like in the middle, right? It's a very mild, very powerful still, but it can last longer. It can last minutes instead of seconds. Mm-hmm.
And they overlap too a little bit.
They do. They absolutely overlap.
It's not like I'm like, the time in between, I'm a dead human and I have no ATP. They kind of overlap just a little bit, so that way you always have some.
When we're talking about these times, we're talking about the peaks of them.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then the last one?
And the last one is the oxidative. And so you think about like your distance runners. Mm-hmm. This can go on for, like, it really takes over the majority of your power output, like 10 minutes, maybe a little longer depending who you are. And that thing just sails for a long, long time. Mm-hmm. And people, think about marathon runners. Super, super thin, right? They're really good about taking this their nutrients and turning it into this very slow burning fuel, but it burns at a very, very slow rate. So people like to make like a fire, like building a fire analogy with these things. A lot of the exercise scientists. So they'll talk about like if you had 3 things that you can build a fire with, and it's like gasoline, kindling, and like a log, right?
Okay.
Like that is your creatine phosphate system. Your glycolytic is your kindling, and then your log is your oxidative. You can't just light a log on fire and expect anything to happen with it. It takes a really long time for all that potential energy to come out of that log.
This was an amazing analogy. Let's talk like that instead of like whatever the other stuff that you're like trying to say in words I didn't know.
But that's the idea. So the point is, if we train all 3 of those systems, not even equally, but if we just train all 3 of them, we're going to get better at all of them. We do tend to bias the glycolytic system, the middle energy system in CrossFit, because there's a lot of evidence that shows training at that really high intensity will also produce good oxidative results. Yeah. As long as you periodically sprinkle in those 20, 30, 40-minute workouts.
I think you'll find a lot of people that have like tried this, but like I definitely have done this, and I know lots of people, like, you see people work out, like, practice for a 5K a lot. They're like, I'm going to work for a 5K. And you'll see a CrossFitter go like, I'll do a 5K. Yeah. And so they can easily, without a problem, run for the 20, 30 minutes.
They're not going to win, but they're not going to die for it. They're going to feel fine. Yeah. And so that's really, I like training for a 5K. If you run, just run once a week. Yeah. And get the skill of running, because like everything is a skill. Yeah. You're going to be great at it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and some people have pushed the 5K to like bigger numbers, but they're crazy too.
Well, yeah.
But just saying, that preparedness is there to be able to go longer than just.
Yeah, I feel prepared to run a 10K any moment. It'd be fine.
Okay, let's go run it, babe. Let's get it.
Let's go. I'm gonna win, but.
I mean.
So I wanted to take a diversion into. Why do we have mixed modalities in a workout?
Yeah, that's good.
Right.
Okay, we're going off the books now. We're going off the grid.
What was the next?
I had nothing else left, so we're going off the grid.
We're doing great now. We're just gonna keep ranting.
Yeah. This is a good point, though.
Yeah, and I thought it was good. One of Glassman's other anecdotes was so the point is, why do we do weightlifting and gymnastics and running? Sometimes we'll do just gymnastics. Sometimes we just do weightlifting. Sometimes we'll mix them all. The question is why. Why can't I just, because if traditional philosophy dictates if I want to get really strong, I'm just going to focus on strength training right here. And then if I want to get fast, I'm going to focus on running. So why not just split up my sessions? Why not Monday we squat, Tuesday we run, right? Like, honestly, you would be very strong and you'd be able to run pretty well that way. But the second that we say, all right, 5 rounds for time, run 400 meters, and then squat 135 20 times, you're going to die. Like, you're going to be crawling on the ground in your own vomit.
Yeah.
And the question is why, right? So, like, there was an early case study that Glassman talked about. There was this guy, like, he benched 500 pounds and ran a 5-minute mile. Like, the two very, very high standards of fitness.
In the same day.
I mean, he could.
Yeah.
He could do both of them, right? And so, two very seemingly opposing modalities. Like, oh, this guy's an incredible athlete, right? He can do those things. But then Glassman did exactly that. He's like, all right, we're just going to do a few rounds of a 400-meter run and a 135 bench press. This guy should crush this. After 3 rounds, he can't bench press 135 anymore. He is dying. Yeah. And he found that once you mix the modalities, the way that those energy systems interact with each other shut down your body if you're not used to it.
Yeah.
So, which is why first responders who say, well, do you need to be strong? Well, yes, but I might also need to run through a burning building before I pick up something.
Yeah.
Pick up a person and jump out of a window.
Yeah.
I need to be able to do all of it at the same time sometimes.
Yeah.
This is kind of how training those first responders kind of happened, was those original case studies.
Yeah.
Which is why we mix the modalities. So, like, sometimes I am interested in making you stronger and we're just going to squat, we're just going to lift. But on average, we're blending things.
That's not where I thought you were going. I thought that is a good point. But I was thinking more of like, we have CrossFit, we have Olympic lifts, we have running, we have box jumps, but why don't we have bicep curls or even
functional?
There are two things that I think of here. I think of like the functional versus non-functional would be one of them. And Glassman said if there's something better out there, if there's something better than squats that are gonna get my legs stronger, we will put them in CrossFit. But until then, we're gonna continue doing the things that we do. And sometimes I will see new things be added in.
And we've taken them.
Because we're like, whoa, that looks
especially
really cool.
in I don't know, auxiliary movements. I'll say over the past 10 years, warm-ups and cool-downs and stretching and all this has become exponentially better in CrossFit.
Yeah.
Because PTs and people like this have come into the space and educated us a lot.
Yeah. The other thing I was going to say was we talked a lot about like power output, and it seems like we need to measure a lot in some things. And the number one thing I'm thinking that we really can't measure very well is like battle ropes. Like battle ropes are probably really good. Like, yes, they're amazing, but I can't measure a battle rope. Right. If I go in there and I'm just versus I'm like getting after it with that intensity, there's no way for me to know that I did any better than
if someone could put a little sensor at the end of it and measure the force of you doing this thing.
Well, now you gave away our $1 million idea of like how to measure battle ropes. But I mean, that'd be the same thing with like rowing or like ski ergs. Like ski ergs would not be in a gym if it didn't have a little ticker saying how.
Hey, we're back.
What is going on?
Turn the spotlight off.
No, but staying on too late. We ain't making too late.
That is true. And so it's like yeah. The majority of our movements are these highly measurable things that are shown to produce results. Not saying not to disparage bicep curls and stuff, they have a place, but we focus on building capable athletes, not people that necessarily look like capable athletes, right? Yeah. So I think like if I were to compare a Olympic weightlifter to a bodybuilder, like if you paired them up, right? Both highly like very strong people in a very specialized sport. Yeah. The bodybuilders look bananas. Yeah. They are shredded, huge arms. They're pretty strong in their own right. Yeah. But then you still like these weightlifters look like kind of average Joes, but then are shockingly athletic with their like flexibility and their ability to move weight.
You've seen some of these tiny girls move some weight. You're like, what in the world is going on?
Yeah. Yeah. So if, those isolation movements, while they're not very measurable, they're very low power output. They do kind of have their purpose if you want the beach bod, but 10% of the time, whatever.
The other two things that I think are part of CrossFit that aren't necessarily in this definition that I think CrossFit now adds in are around nutrition and then community.
Well, so it wasn't the original.
Yes.
Elite Fitness in 100 words.
That was, I agree with that. I agree with that. But I think right now you see that a lot more in the definition of like.
Because for the average Joe, it is far more important.
Yeah. For certain, if someone comes up to me off the street and says, I would like to lose weight, I know that you have a gym, what do you recommend I do? And I'm like, eat right.
Yeah.
Like one.
Eat more vegetables.
Like forget about the gym right now, eat right. Yeah. But that being said, if I just eat right, maybe when I get lean, I'm not going to have the shape that I want, and I'm not going to have like maybe some of the physical abilities that I want.
Right.
The exercise and being, I think, I really like the community. That's like my way. Being around people that are like-minded, like when I have people that are trying to lose weight, I'm like, don't hang out with your people that just eat garbage all the time, and that's like find people that are in the same boat as you. And it doesn't mean that, we eat garbage all the time, but maybe I need to get out of this boat. Refund. But that being said, like we both have that mindset of like, meal prepping, and I can talk to other people at the gym like, hey, I'm struggling with this sweet tooth, and this is a perfect thing to kind of. And so if you're around people that are in that same realm as you, and not just letting you sail down the river, like I think that community is key in keeping with your goals, whether they be like fitness or nutrition.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the guys have experienced with that in the bro gym before.
Yeah.
Just because like the guys, we were always able to find workout buddies, and as soon as that workout buddy leaves, you're just like, well, this kind of sucks. I don't want to do this anymore.
My Facebook timeline always has like things that's like, does anyone gonna go running with me? Go running. And like I used to be like okay because I go to a group fitness class like Zoom, like I was a Zumba freak. I promise you I did Zumba for like a year, and I never met anyone, including the instructor. The instructor has no idea who I am. Bobby, I still love her to death. She has no clue who I am.
Sure.
But you like build connections and relationships. I was saying like people have said and told me things in the gym that I don't even think some people in their family know, because you just build that bond and sweat.
Suffering together.
Yeah, that suffering together is just like there's nothing else that beats it. And so like I tell people like if you literally just move to Charlotte, like find yourself a gym, because like you'll literally meet and be friends with the most random people that there's no way I would ever.
I do like the social aspect. So like there's like a social leveling.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you'll be working out with somebody for months, right? And then you'll find out that like it's like, oh, this guy is the VP of some crazy company, and then this guy's a college student, and then like like it's everybody's in the same plane in there, and you get to meet and interact with people that you never would have outside.
Yeah, I'm literally like...
We've seen this in multiple occasions. It's weird.
Yeah. It's like, Leah's like one of my better friends, and she's a 63-year-old lady. Like, how would I ever...
outside of the gym?
Yeah, I have no idea. She's probably like... But then at the same time, like, we're also around, like, really young people all the time, and, where we are now, we would not be around, like... There's not a lot of 19-year-olds that work at Bank of America, and at least in my office. Unless they're like a prodigy, they've already flown through school. I don't know.
Everybody I work with is a bunch of 30-year-old physics nerds. Like I'm a very, very specific thing in my workplace.
Just like very different backgrounds. It's such a like collective of people, and like the main thing that they have in common is they want to improve themselves in fitness and health. And so like. I think it's very beautiful, and I think, like, no matter what CrossFit gym I go into, there's a little bit different of a vibe in a community, but throughout, I always see that level of, like, mixing of cultures and backgrounds and general love.
And the funny thing is, that part was fully accidental.
Yeah.
CrossFit started as a personal training regimen, and it grew into more of a group class, and then they just saw the effect that it had on people.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah, I think there's something about like hitting that intensity and blacking out that afterwards people can really like...
Your walls are down.
Yeah, you can like really like hug on each other and open up. And if you opened up and like to like the bro next to you at Planet Fitness, like maybe you could have a lifelong friendship, but you're not going to do that because you're not both doing the same thing, and you're not both maybe hitting that intensity and like really becoming vulnerable. But there's something that happens in a gym that you become,
just daily near-death experiences, whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, doing 500 burpees for time. You almost died.
Yeah, it was very touch and go there for a minute, but we made it through. We made it through. And it's funny, too, because, like, even I'm walking down the street, I'll see somebody with some CrossFit gear on.
Oh,
like, hey, how was your friend the other day? Like,
yeah.
oh, we did this workout. Like, what do you squat? And, like, we can just, like, talk and almost have our own little language, which other people think is crazy and they think that we're a cult. And I'm almost sometimes offended that, like, people think that it's bad for a CrossFitter to post about CrossFit on their Instagram. And it's like, this is generally something that we love.
Yeah.
And so, like, shaming us not to make these posts is really sad. So, I would like soapbox for a second.
No, it's fine. I have a hard time posting about CrossFit stuff. I don't post a lot about anything, but
But there is that, like, oh, CrossFitters talking about CrossFit.
It does. It definitely
and they've
does.
kind of, like, beat it back
bullshit,
into a hole, and
Yeah.
it is.
Meanwhile,
like,
you can post about The Bachelor all day long.
Yeah, but have you ever read someone talks about, like, something that they love and that has changed their lives?
Yeah, we are ranting hard. We've got to end this.
I know. CrossFit's changed my life, so I'm like, it's really hard to, like, not stick up for it.
I agree.
Everyone that knows me knows how much I love CrossFit and Greg Glassman, and they're like rolling their eyes like, here she goes again, drinking that Kool-Aid.
All right, let's wrap this thing up.
Okay.
Go find that picture of Sam's shirt with Greg Glassman.
No!
Do it!
No, that's not going to be the thumbnail either.
It's fantastic.
Can you make a crazy face to the thumbnail?
No.
I'm going to find one, because my face last week was nuts.
Yeah, Watkins pointed that out.
Shit it. All right, so what do we end this with?
We never do. We do this every time.
You have to make some weird noise.
There's no noise. Bye, guys.
There's no noise. Boop. Oh my god, my legs. My Karen legs. What if you're not in this whole video?